In today's video, we're going to work on trying to mill out our oil passages for our one-shot oiling system. There are a lot of different ways you can mill your oil slots in your dovetails. A lot of information has been posted online on this, so you can take a look and see what all's out there. I've seen dovetails milled like slow. I've seen designs like curly cues like that. All different sorts of different patterns. Me personally, I think that I'm just going to do a diagonal line like so. There's a couple reasons that I think this is the best way to do that. This is going to slide back and forth, and over time, this is just a theory, but over time, if you've got a straight line down the middle, isn't it going to maybe wear the other side of the dovetail? I don't know. Probably wouldn't, but who knows? I figure if you put it on a diagonal, then it's not going to wear one particular slot more than any other direction. I don't think that going with the little T slots is necessary. I think just having a diagonal line will probably give me way more than enough oil per slide. I don't want too much oil, but I want just the right amount. There's plenty of information out on the internet, so do your research and make your own decision based on what you feel is best for your particular situation. Now, my dovetails, my X in particular, these are my mounts, and they are going to slide all the way up to here. And this is actually where the end of my X table will be. It's going to be overextended about 1.25 inches. So I don't want to have my oil groove way out here because I don't want any kind of contamination. So I'm going to try to keep it within the boundaries of the travel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in 2 inches on each side. Like so. And then over here, I'm going to come in about 3/8. And then 3/8 on this end. And then I'll just make a line. Come on, magic marker, don't fail me now. Alright. See if I put it on. Okay, something like that. And then on this side, I'm going to come in 3/8 over here. 3/8 over here. And split that right there. Like so. And then I'll just put a chevron up here so that this is actually the hole that mounts to the y-axis ball nut. So I'll just put a chevron there, and that'll should give me plenty of oil supply there. And then just a diagonal here. And then for the Z dovetail, I just put a couple of diagonal lines there. Then we'll flip this over, and I just put a couple diagonal lines here as well. I think this is going to give me plenty of surface area to oil. It should spread out as you're working it. Now you can see I've labeled these where the holes are going to be, and what I did was, these are the gib stops where you can lock the gibs down. This hole goes all the way through, and so I'm just going to utilize this factory hole here, and this right here will lube this side of the Y, and I'll drill a hole through here into this passage, and that will also oil the bottom here. Likewise on my X here, I will utilize the Gibbs lock here and put a hole here for the X. I'll just put a hole right here, and then that will oil this side. And also for the back, what I'm going to do, and the side that doesn't have the gib stops, I'm just going to drill me a hole through here, all the way through, and then drill a hole here, and then that will oil this groove and get this side of the gib. Then on the back, I'll do the same. I'll put me a hole here and a hole up top here. So the plan, here are your gibs, and the way they foot in here is this goes in like so, and you can tell that they're taped. This particular dovetail right here is wider here and narrower here, and then as this slides in, this is also tapered. It's wider here and narrower here, so it's a wedge, and as this goes in, it tensions this up. So I left the one stop here on each one so that I knew exactly about where it's going to be. And so what I'm going to do is I just marked with a magic marker and then took a nail here and scratched through. And what I want to do is I'm going to have my fitting here. It's going to push oil in here. It's going to come up through this hole. And then it's also going to go through here. I'm going to drill a hole, come out the other side, and oil the gib here. So that'll get this side oiled, and I've done the same thing for the Z-axis and also for the Y down here. So the plan today is to mill these grooves. hopefully using the X2. So I'm going to get that set up, and then we'll get over to the X2 and we'll mill those slots out. Finished up our oil pathways on the X2. I was really surprised. I didn't think this was going to work out, but it fit on there. And it just so happened that the length I needed here, I was able to get on the X2. This is about an 8.5 inch slot. Remember, I came in a couple inches from each side because the X table will end up coming into about right here, and I didn't want the oil way to be exposed. So that turned out really well. The Z-axis turned out really well. This sits in the mill like so, and I've got a hole here, so I'll put another hole here on this side, and got a hole right here, and I'll put another one right on this side, and then that way gravity will take the oil down. So the Z, that'll be good. Just have two, one on each side. I'm going to have one on each side of the X, and one on each side of the Y. Right here is another Gibbs tensioner, so I'll probably use this hole here. I've got a bunch of fittings so I'm really happy with the way that the oil ways turned out. Now I'm just going to drill for my fittings. I have some on order. I'm going with, a lot of people use 1/4 inch tubing and flow control valves. I don't really think you need that much oil. That's a lot of volume, 1/4 inch tubing. So I'm going with 4mm tubing, which is about 3/16 OD, 0.157, something like that. So I'm going to go with that, and that'll give me a little bit smaller hole, and hopefully give me just the right amount of oil per pump. I've got some flow control valves, some manifolds, some fittings. We'll get all into that once they get in. I guess that's it for this video. We have the oilways finished. Other than this little error right here, they turned out really well. Please feel free to make suggestions, ask questions, and leave comments. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thumbs up if you like the video. Thanks for watching, and most importantly, be safe.